Next item, roll call and establishment of quorum. Go ahead and start over here.
Benito Hernandez present.
Joe Perez present.
Joel Garcia, present.
Javier Ramirez present.
Alexandra Flores present.
Mayor Vera present. I do declare a full and complete quorum. Next item, invocation and pledge of allegiance. You may stand. Anybody want to lead us? All right, can bow our heads. We'll take Proverbs 4:20, which says, listen to God's words in everything we do, in our walking, in our talking, in our actions. We pray for our city leaders, our county leaders, our state leaders, federal and world leaders. Help us, guide us, dear Lord, to make this world a better place. Unite us, dear Lord, through the good and the bad, to make our communities safer and better. All these things I ask in your precious name, amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, certified posting of agenda.
Good evening, Chairman and board members. I, Monica Garza, certify the agenda was posted 72 hours prior to this meeting as required by the Texas state law.
Thank you, ma'am. Next item, public comments, and I do see we have public comment from Mr. Barreiro, Eduardo Barreiro from Spring Glen, in topics to the street. Mr. Barreiro, you want to come on up? And then give him 3 minutes.
Mr. Valero, en Spanish or English? En español, ok, muy bien. La porción esta del comentario público tiene 3 minutos para dar a su comentario al consejo. El consejo no tiene que responder, únicamente pedimos que siga las reglas, que mantenga el respeto y la cortesía, y usted tiene el piso.
Buenas tardes.
Pícale el botón que se mire verde.
Verde.
Ahí está.
Testes, ¿verdad? Buenas tardes, soy Eduardo Barreiro, vengo de la calle Spring Glen, vengo representando a la colonia. Por lo mismo de siempre, cuándo se van a arreglar las calles, qué fechas hay, qué se va a hacer, el pavimentado, el drenaje. Y la otra pregunta que tienen muchos vecinos, como no se ilumbró, no se puso luz en la otra calle, que viene siendo la misma colonia, quieren saber si también la van a pavimentar, la calle Frontier.
¿Algo otra cosa?
Pues nomás, con eso que me hagan.
Si quieren quedarse, y gracias por venir
Sí.
a representar, si quieren quedarse, ahorita vamos a dar un recurso sobre lo que los proyectos, y va a estar todo eso incluido.
Ok,
Anything else?
eso es todo, nomás eso, las calles.
El alumbramiento ya
Sí,
arregló.
se puso en Spring Glen, desde esos días, esas semanas misma quedó. Pero la pregunta es que los mismos vecinos de la otra calle
Sí.
están preguntando que por qué no les pusieron luz a ellos y si los están agregando en lo que se va a arreglar la calle. Que sí, también, porque
Ok.
todos estamos saliendo por allá y ya la calle va para lo mismo de la otra. So, esa es la pregunta de ellos también.
Frontier se llama.
La Frontier, sí. Pues es que es la misma colonia, nomás que
Sí, pues,
se llama Frontier.
ahí va.
Es todo. Ok.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias, Mr. Barreiro.
Okay, next item. Mayoral Proclamation, National EMS Week, May 15 through 21. So, we got anybody representing?
Unfortunately, they're not again. They're out on call on duty, so
That's okay.
if we want to go through the proclamation, at least to put it on the record.
That's what they're doing right now.
Yes, sir.
So, on behalf of the city of Palmview, the state of Texas, county of Hidalgo, whereby emergency medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of the emergency medical service teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and emergency medical services has grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventative medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine. And whereas the emergency medical service system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital Medicare providers. And whereas the members of the emergency medical service teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas the Palmview community is encouraged to recognize and pay tribute to emergency medical technicians that provide this vital service to the community in protecting our health, safety, and quality of life. Now therefore, I, Ricardo Real, Mayor of the City of Palmview, do hereby proclaim the city this week, and in the City of Palmview, May 15, 2021, 2022, as National Emergency Medical Services Week, proclaimed on this 17th day of May. All right, so this was issued out in May, but being done today. Yours truly, Mayor Rick Villarreal. Thank you. So we don't have any medical service people. No tenemos la gente que estamos reconociendo ahorita aquí. All right, they're not here porque están haciendo su servicio trabajando ahorita en una emergencia. So les queremos dar las gracias. We want to thank them. And I think if anybody wants to say anything, now would be the time. And I'll go ahead and leave it up here, Mike. All right, so we'll go ahead and start over here. Alejandra?
Yes, like I've mentioned with other public safety departments, I mean, it takes a special individual to do the job of a paramedic, of any life-saving job is extremely hard for an individual to go out and do day after day. Our families, our friends, our neighbors, our lives are in their hands. So we really owe them so much. You know, it's unimaginable what it is that they go through on a daily basis. So from the bottom of my heart and for my family, just want to say thank you to all of the EMS team that we have in the city and in our surrounding cities as well.
Yes, I also want to echo Ms. Flores's comments about our EMS. They are a very important and integral part of our city, and yes, it does take a very special person to do what these individuals do. And I'm proud to say that Palmview, or this city, has state-of-the-art EMS service. Very few here in the valley have what we have here in Palmview as far as our EMS. It's like a emergency room on wheels, and that's a life-saving, that's a very life-saving entity that we have here on wheels. So when you see an ambulance out there, most of them are just transporting, and not ours. Ours are saving lives inside the vehicle, and I'm very proud to say that, you know, we've been a big part of that here in Palmview, and the success of saving lives is very important, and I'm just, you know, from the bottom of my heart and my family, thank you so much to all of our EMS personnel.
Well, I guess you know, what was an idea of a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, you know, sometimes you have to make a decision that is not very popular. And I remember when we made the decision about bringing in the ambulance, it wasn't very popular, but I think it was God sent. It was right before COVID, and these people really stepped up to the plate. I mean, they saved so many lives, and, you know, thanks to Chief Alanis and you know, Michael Leo and all the administration that made it happen. But it also hits very close to my heart, because these guys, you know, and you know, and ladies, saved my mom's life. So, you know, that's very, you know, I'm very appreciative of what they did. I mean, I can't thank them enough. I can't say enough to, you know, to express how I feel. So, you know, I also want to thank them, you know, and we saved many lives in the community also. And if it weren't for them, I mean, we would have lost many lives, and like I said, it happened, I mean, God sent, it happened right before COVID. And it's something very special that, you know, that hits my heart, very personal, like I said, you know, because of my mom and all the other people. And it's very rewarding when I hear people go, well, You know, you saved my dad, you know, the EMS saved my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister's life. There's no money that can, or nothing that can compare to it, you know, to those words when they, you know, so these guys, they're there day in and day out saving lives. I mean, to me, they're God's angels. So I want to thank every single one of them, not only from Palmview, but mostly from Palmview, but from all over the country and all over the world. You know, it's a shame they're not here to thank them, but they need to be thanked every day, not only today or this week. So, thank you. You know, I know they're out there working. So I'd like to say thank you, and thank you.
I guess it's a good thing to have that in the community and have that opportunity for us to serve as a community. So it's not just that week or this week, but whenever you see a first responder in EMS especially, you know, they are, their duties are extremely delicate and important for somebody's life. So we want to thank you for what you do and how professional you are when you handle the situations, because you are handling the situations at the more crucial moments when somebody's really in need health-wise. So to the chief and to the people out there, we thank you, and we're extremely grateful to have you in our city. Thank you so much for what you do.
I want to say thank you to the EMS. I know went through a lot to COVID time and hurricane. I know they are working 24/7 and they're doing the best that they can. I want to say thank you to all the EMS people. Thank you.
Well said by everybody, and I think that was the purpose of the proclamation, just to make it official and make it continual. So thank you to the EMS. I'd like to know where they're at right now, you know, so you can give us a little update of they're taking care of business, where they're taking care of business at, you know, so we can give them a shout out wherever they're at. Anybody else? All right. Thank you, commissioners. Next item, consent agenda. I have a motion.
Motion.
A motion.
Second.
Take a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. So all items are approved.
Mayor, if I may, before we go to old business, if you'd like, we can go into new business, item 9.2, so we can respond to some of the questions that the public has, and then we have other parties here as well that we'd like to get them in and out.
So we're gonna go back, we're gonna skip 9.1, 8.1, and 9.1, right? And then we're gonna go to 9.2. So do I have a motion
So
to
move.
entertain?
You don't need a motion.
No, you don't need a
Take it out of order.
Okay, so we'll just go right into item number 9.2?
Yep.
All right, thank you, guys. Update on capital improvement projects, street paving, street lighting, drainage, and park improvements. Staff by Mr. Leo.
Mayor, if I may, we want to start with the street paving. I know we had some questions on Spring Glen, La Tierra de Spring Glen, La Calle de Spring Glen. We've been talking about the street paving. We've been talking about street paving for a while. We're excited. We're waiting. We're eager. Unfortunately, the dates have changed. You see a little timeline here. Originally, we were supposed to start paving April 4th, and then that changed to April 15th, and then cambiaron de vuelta to May 1st, and then mid-May. And we finally got all of what they were pending. Everything was done. We had our kickoff on June 1st last week. We issued, lo que dice a notice to proceed, so ya tengo como 10 días, they have 10 days to start the paving, which includes Spring Glen, Las Calles de Spring Glen, Stone Ridge, Mesquite, Gracie, Daisy Ridge, Palm Creek, and Jamie Circle. La Calle Frontier, the street frontier, is not on the list right now. It is on our list after these. These were originally because of the condition of the streets and because they had drainage issues as well. These were kind of put as priority, so to speak. Again, we have a list of all the streets, and the ones that are next. Frontier would most likely be in the next round. Once we'd have to borrow more money, of course, get the money, have the engineer do the designs for Frontier and things of that nature. But what we can do quickly for Frontier, it's right before Spring Glen. We know where it's at. We're familiar with it. As to try to see if we can do the street lights. We were able to do the street lights on Frontier because I think, did they already have the poles ready or no? Or we had to put the poles? We had to put the poles. So then that might be the same case, I'm assuming, with Frontier?
Yes, correct.
So with Frontier, it's gonna need new poles. The cost would be a little bit more. We were focusing on, streets that already had poles, but we knew Spring Glen was in bad shape and needed, so we paid for the poles, we paid for the lights, and I think we can do the same for Frontier. It's probably about half the size of Spring Glen, I think, half the length at least. So if the court's, I'm sorry, if the council's okay with it, we'll go ahead and move on the street lights for Frontier, get our quote, get our estimate, and we can move forward with that, and then start putting it on the list for the
We
payment.
budget,
Yeah, I think
it's in the
it's-
budget for all this,
Right
right?
now, it's not, the streetlights we can do within our
Yeah,
budget.
that's what I
Paving is the one that we're gonna have to work on our budget.
I think we should address that and give them a little lighting since Spring Glen is already there, so, thank you, Mr. Barreto, for coming forth, and then, muchas gracias. And what about the timeline? What did they say that's gonna start on
Well,
that project?
Interestingly enough, June 1st, we had our pre-construction meeting, and we give them what's called the notice to proceed. They have 10 days to proceed. We asked them to come here and join us to see if they can give us an update, or when, at least tell us when are you gonna start, cuando van a comenzarlo, ¿verdad? They weren't able to come, they just sent a message that they expect to start paving June 20th. I'm sorry, yeah, June 20th. So again, we hear one date, and that date gets pushed off a little bit, and it's hard.
What is causing the pushback? Because we're all hearing it.
If, you know.
And just
look
be
at-
honest, you know.
Look at the timeline, you see they had a little over a month with the agreement. April 19th, we sent them all the paperwork, we wanted to get started. It took them a little bit over a month till May 19th to respond. They had some minor comments, they sent it to legal.
¿Sí entienden inglés?
Disculpe, ok, voy a tratar los dos, en inglés y en español. So, sí, April 19th, el 19 de abril le mandamos el contrato con todos los planes, con todo lo que necesitamos hacer. El contratista, ¿verdad? ¿Es that right, contratista?
You're close enough.
Se tardó como un mes solamente para regresarlo. They took a month to send it back. They sent it back on May 19th, el 19 de mayo lo regresaron, por fin. Perdimos un mes. Nosotros estamos esperando, iba a ser en abril, iba a ser en el medio de abril, iba a ser en el 1 de mayo, no se hizo. So, por fin el día 19 de mayo recibimos el contrato para atrás. El abogado de nosotros miró los cambios que querían hacer ellos. They saw the changes they wanted to make. We were okay with the changes. We worked on the weekend, sent it back on a Sunday, lo mandamos para atrás ese domingo, trabajando en la fin de semana, porque todo queremos que ya se hace, ya se hace, ya se hace. Mandamos eso el 22 de mayo, y 2 días después dijimos, vamos a tener la junta ya para hacer todo, lo que what you call a pre-con meeting. En esta junta ya firman ahí cuándo van a comenzar, hacen el schedule, las fechas, cuándo se va a hacer, when are the dates, or that they're going to do it. We pushed for a meeting right away, we said, can we have it this week? Y ellos dijeron, no podemos hacerlo esta semana, el día 1 de junio. So June 1st, we had that meeting, which was last week. Now that they've had the meeting, by contract, we can issue the notice to proceed. Es como un directo, a directive, al contratista, ya, ahora sí, ya va el reloj. Ya firmaron, ya va el reloj, the clock is ticking. Deben de tener 10 días, hasta el 11 de junio de este mes. Los invitamos ahora para venir a la junta, y lo están diciendo ahorita que no podían venir, pero sí lo están dando ahora noticias que van a comenzar el día 20 de junio. Se cambió la fecha de vuelta.
Mike.
June 20th.
Ok, otra pregunta es, ¿hay algo en el contrato porque se están tan tardando y tardando y tardando? Y si hay parte en ellos que no se está haciendo, si según nosotros estamos haciendo nuestra parte y ellos no, algo para decirles, pues vamos a bajarle un poco el precio o algo contra I want you to look at the contract because this thing should have been halfway. Ya debe de haber estado acabado, o no acabado, pero empezado.
And we had talked about que si no hacía su trabajo, we're going to look for somebody else.
Sí, that's when we're waiting on the contract.
Déjeme contesto la pregunta esa nomás. La razón por la cual ahorita muchas empresas en todo el estado se están atrasando es por cuestión de materiales y de servicios primos. Por lo del COVID y por lo como están sucediendo la materia prima que está escasa, muchos contratos están atrasados. Desafortunadamente, el estado de Texas y las cortes reconocen los retrasos por cuestiones de materia prima y no permiten que las entidades públicas puedan demandar a base de eso. Entonces, si nosotros queremos demandarlos por decir, se están atrasando y ellos dicen, es porque no hay material o estamos esperando material, no hay nada que podamos hacer al respecto. Entonces, al menos que sea otra cosa distinta, la ciudad puede proceder, pero siendo por cuestiones de existencia de material primo, la ciudad tiene que esperarse hasta que el contratista lo reciba.
But that's not the response they had, or no? Well, that was the response that they gave us at the first time, because, I mean, it was approved since September. It was approved for them, January, February, something like that. It was supposed to start in March. And now we're here by June, mid-June, end of June, it was supposed to be finished. So they didn't, this is the first time I see that there was lacking materials. I didn't have that.
No. Just to clarify, I'm not suggesting that that's the delay for any
That-
of that. I'm talking about the delay once we execute the notice to proceed. So
Okay.
for example, if right now they had 10 days to proceed for June 11th and they're requesting the 20th, if that delay is due to material shortage or material on demand, then there we wouldn't have a cause of action. Unfortunately,
Yeah. Go ahead. I got a question.
the other delays that happened, we've sort of accepted them as they've come in because we haven't stopped them before that for any other reason.
Just want to hacer el público, que sepa el público que no estamos haciendo nada. Ojalá que no, ¿verdad? Y no digo nomás ojalá, en parte de la ciudad, que estamos tratando de parar el proyecto, o disminuir el proyecto, o deshacer el proyecto. ¿Ok? Se ha estado tardando bastante, bastante, estamos más que, ¿verdad?, frustrados, pero el proyecto va para adelante. Y Eden, pregunté, porque nos metimos más de lo que debíamos en preguntas aquí con el abogado, que les dio más, gracias Eden, pero queremos que sepan, que que tengan el seguro que sí se va a hacer el proyecto. Está un poquito delay, retrasado como quien dice, pero de que se va a hacer, se va a hacer.
I have a question. Mike, so, hasta ahorita no sabemos por qué quieren empezar el día 20. Si ya tenemos entendido que tienen 10 días, es el 11 de junio. ¿Sabemos por qué? ¿O estamos preguntando? Necesitamos preguntar.
Esta vez apenas los dieron la notificación apenas ahorita como media hora para atrás. The only thing that they gave us, Mayor Pro Tem, as far as why is it taking so long, porque se está tardando mucho, que el abogado de ellos se tardó como un mes y medio con los papeles contratando, reviewing the contract. That was the one reason that they did give us. If there's anything beyond that, they haven't conveyed that to us. When we met June 1st, I said 10 days. They said, okay. When do you expect to start? We'll let you know. This week, when do you expect to start? Ayer le preguntamos, when do you expect to start? Today we asked them again right before the meeting, hey, we have a meeting. Our council wants to know, la gente quiere saber cuándo van a comenzar. ¿Cuándo van a comenzar? Te dije 10 días del día de 1 de junio. Y la respuesta era June 20th. So, vamos a
Sí, y aquí están los de la gente de la calle, aquí están los habitantes. Y si no se hace para junio 20 o más temprano, quisiéramos no negociar, porque vamos a tardarnos otros 3 meses, pero arrimarlos a la mesa y mover para adelante. Queremos ir a una junta con ellos, Mike, mañana o para el fin de esta semana, y que nos tengan un día, y que ese día se queden con ese día, y que no se salgan de ese día, y que se tengan con ese día, ¿verdad? ¿Podemos hacer eso?
Ese es un muy buen punto, que si por cualquier motivo, razón o circunstancia no procedemos con esta empresa por cuestiones de tardarse, significa que la ciudad tiene que comenzar el proyecto de principio para poder otorgar el contrato a otra empresa. Entonces, por cuestión de querer proceder lo más posible, tenemos que ceder un poco en cuestiones de días para no tener que comenzar el proyecto de nuevo.
Estos delays, lo que están sufriendo son ellos, ¿verdad? Yo fui ahora a ayudarles a sacar agua ahí, ¿verdad? Y se mira feo, es un flood, es un agua que se vino poco y no, estaba feo, ¿entiendes? Para ellos, ¿verdad? Ellos son los que sufren, ¿entiendes? No los ingenieros, nada de eso, ellos son los que sufren. Necesitamos que hacer algo.
Para el récord, se me hace a mí que la Spring Glen, ¿se acuerda que la habíamos ponido para medio último porque iban a hacer el drainage? La pusimos para el medio, parece. So, ¿van a comenzar en the same order?
Queremos hacer eso, pero también estamos esperando el Drainage District que nos diga que el plan de drenaje que tenemos para Spring Glen, que está bien con ellos, porque el drenaje de Spring Glen conecta el canal de atrás, que es el Drainage District, so ellos necesitan hacer, hey, ok, está bien, nos vas a mandar más agua más rápido, está bien, los visitamos con ellos en marzo, desde el marzo tenemos una junta, y dicen, vamos checando los plans, todavía no nos dan el green light para el drenaje. Ya que lo dan el green light para el drenaje, va a ser al mismo tiempo que estamos haciendo la calle, vamos a hacer el drenaje también de una vez, ya que están abriendo todo, ¿verdad? Necesitamos a dar ese trabajo a alguien. Estábamos originalmente pensamos al contratista, al mismo contratista que está haciendo las calles, ya que está ahí, pues hace el drenaje.
¿Quién es el contratista, Mike?
Texas Cordia Construction.
Texas Cordia Construction.
Ya que since you're already there while you're paving, do the drainage. And speaking with our legal counsel, their scope is related to the street paving. The quotes that they submitted, the response to the bids are related to street paving. To do the drainage, we would either look at a change order. We try to be real careful with change orders.
¿Y quién es el ingeniero que está haciendo el trabajo por la ciudad y por ellos?
Diana Izaguirre Engineering.
Diana Izaguirre Engineering.
So, because el total de
For the
cantidad
record.
que va a ser trabajo de drainage, what we may need to do is have an emergency, not a regular meeting, but use an emergency exception, because ya ven el drenaje, ya ven the rain. They just got flooded last week, la semana pasada. No tenemos el tiempo a hacer todo el proceso que governments we need to do. We have processes and it kills us and it makes us go slow. The procurement process, the bureaucracy, the red tape, es un proceso y sí se tarda. So lo que estamos diciendo, vamos a decir, ¿sabes qué? Esta es una emergencia. El drenaje se necesita hacer algo en Springfield, ya no podemos esperar a hacer otro proceso. So ya cuando hacemos eso, podemos nomás pedirle al mismo contratista cuánto vas a cobrar por eso. Le dijimos a at least 2 other contractors get quotes, how much? How much is it going to cost? That way they can do it at the same time. But again, more importantly, we need the drainage district, the Hidalgo County Drainage District, to say, hey, you know what, that'll work, or you know what, you might want to slow down because you're gonna flood us in our canal.
And they still have it.
So what's gonna be first?
And we check every week for the last 8 weeks. Where are we? Our engineers are checking it. Oh, they're looking at it. Oh, we're working on this and that.
You have records of all that?
Yes, and it gets frustrating for us because we tell you and you guys, I feel like we're telling you the same thing over and over. La gente oye lo mismo cada semana, cada mes. Vamos nomás en el medio pasando la información.
So what's the bottom line? ¿Qué es lo que, por qué no lo han hecho?
My guess, if I'm the drainage district, I'm like, look, Palmview, there's 24 cities in the county. I've got 24 of you calling me all the time. Each city probably has 4 or 5 plans. They have huge bond projects. They have $200 million in bond projects. They're doing.
But that's why they go by schedules, right? I mean,
So I imagine they have a lot on their plate, but again, I don't want to speak for
Can
them.
we set up a meeting tomorrow with these guys?
We can set up a
again?
follow-up again. We can do a follow-up.
and I understand como está la gente, asustados de esto también, pero, it falls back to the same big concern that I have. When are we gonna get these other streets fixed? 495 and all that. I mean, when are we gonna deal with our, about all that?
But let's get to that part.
Yeah, let's get to that one también. Okay, but so what's gonna be fixed? The drainage is gonna be fixed first, or?
We want to do them both at the same time. Ya que están ahí con la calle, hey, do the drainage, because the plan for the drainage was, ahí en el medio de Spring Lane, donde está Frontier, hay como 2 donde vas a bajar el agua, ¿verdad? El plan del ingeniero es make them bigger, más grande, con pipas más grandes, que van al mismo canal allá atrás, so they're going to the same place. Y luego pon otros, uno más o 2 más, y pon una conexión allá también, más arriba, más para dentro de la calle de Spring Lane. So en vez de esos 2 van a tener 3 o 4. So la agua va a ir más rápido para abajo en tubos más grandes, pero si el sistema de donde va está igual, ¿qué va a pasar? Se va a llenar igual y la calle se va a ir para atrás para Spring Lane. So no
Mike, I'm gonna request that we find out when is the next drainage district meeting and that we sign up to either speak our concerns. We need to go and we need to tell them our urgency and how many homes are getting damaged every year during these times.
And take them with us too.
Yeah,
Take
we
the
need to show our
community with us.
presence
Para que vayan
because,
ustedes también para la junta esa, porque esa es la conexión.
and I'll be more than happy to join. Los puedo acompañar a la junta para ayudar y representar nuestra comunidad.
It's usually at every, estaría perfecto. Creo que nosotros como habitantes de Spring Lane, yo tengo 2 lotes allá y vivo enfrente de lo que ustedes decían, en mero medio. Sí, sí. El problema que es ahí con el agua, sí. So que ahorita estamos escuchando con gran alegría y con gran gusto que ustedes también están tratando de papuchar a la compañía. Nos queda claro ya que no son ustedes, pero sí necesitamos su ayuda para poner
Sí.
Pero estamos aquí para ayudar en lo que puedan.
Y es un proceso.
No se entiende, como les dije la vez pasada, aparte de olvidar poblados. Entonces, se lo necesitamos decir a la compañía esa, sabes que ustedes están bajando de nosotros, para poner un poquito de presión, pero usted nos acaba de dar una gran alegría ahorita,
Para eso estamos.
Sí, claro que sí.
Es que no tiene caso de pavimentar si el drenaje no está bien. O sea que no tiene punto. Entonces nosotros decidimos poner el drenaje y después pavimentar la calle. Así no se va, no
O
se
como
va a
dijo,
dañar
al mismo tiempo.
con las aguas. Entonces, y lo que pasa aquí, el proceso, no es nada más la ciudad, o sea, son varias entidades que tenemos que estar de acuerdo en cómo se va a hacer. Y es un proceso que se está prolongando por X razones. Ahora se puede prolongar más si no hay material. Entonces, ahí es donde va a ser el problema. O puede ser que haya.
Es muy buena que están dando con nosotros,
Sí.
porque cuando no hay comunicación y no sabemos de lo que está pasando, los vecinos...
No, claro, y la gente va a pensar lo peor, o sea, van a decir pues que nosotros somos culpables y yo comprendo, porque nosotros somos representantes de la comunidad y es muy importante que nosotros luchemos por ustedes y eso es lo que estamos haciendo.
Exactamente.
For the record, I know we kind of got into a discussion with the community. It's not supposed to be that way. We're kind of breaking a little ground, but go ahead.
Nomás quería agregar que la próxima junta del distrito de drenaje es a la 1:30 este jueves.
Anda la
Las
información.
12 comisionados en el INBU.
Pues vamos a ponernos de acuerdo.
Y tienen foro público. Si quieren hablar.
If we could please sign up for that, Mike.
All right.
Es martes, ¿verdad? Tuesday. I think they meet every other Tuesday, cada otra semana de los martes. Oh, okay, special.
Gracias por su paciencia, gracias por tomar de su tiempo y gracias por quedarse aquí, estar en Palmview, ¿verdad? Y aceptarnos porque los agregamos hace como 3 años, ¿verdad? Los anejamos y gracias por ser parte. No somos perfectos, pero tenemos una obligación para arrimarles policía, ¿verdad? Ambulancia, bombero, todos los servicios que tiene el pueblo y las calles y las luces y el drenaje también es parte de eso. So, aquí estamos.
Thank you
aquí
so much for
estamos
that
y
information, sir.
gracias. Y es todo el concilio, ¿verdad?, que hace esto, no nomás el alcalde, pero es todos juntos con los trabajadores aquí de la ciudad también y los ingenieros. So, es un poquito de todos ponen su parte. Mike, on to the next?
And the park,
On the same item, before we finish that, why don't we do this, if you don't mind?
Go ahead.
Same item, you have a handout from 495. This is another project that we feel has taken a long time. The 495 expansion project, the veteranos of 495 expansion. We have the engineers, LNG, who is here to answer any questions or updates. We know this project has been in the works for, 4 or 5 years, give or take. It's ran into some challenges and hiccups. The latest one has been the shortfall for the right-of-way. We've talked about this in our prior meetings. With the last notice that you have in front of you from the precinct 3 came in April, that the shortfall is now 2.3 million. It went from 1.6 to 2.3 million, which means if we came up with half, we'd have to come up with about 1.1 million. My understanding is the majority of it is for the right-of-way, right? The right-of-way, basically, the right-of-way acquisition, they ran out of funds. Maybe they can expand as to what happened with people asking for more money. Did values go up? Did the process just take so much time? And in that process, did we underestimate? But we do have some options before you that we've talked about in our prior meetings. We do nothing, we sit back, they run out of money, the project run out of money, and then it stops, it gets on hold, and maybe we're lucky next year, the MPO or somewhere, some other pot of funds comes in, and it moves forward, but we lose time. And I think the consensus from council was, hey, we don't wanna wait, we don't wanna lose time, so really, we wanna, budget the shortfall. We have some options as far as where we can get the money from, mainly with our ARPA funds, all of it basically go to it. Along with the 130,000 that we're getting, because we're losing a piece of our property right here as well, that they're taking for the project. If we want the project to stay on time and move forward, then that's the option, the avenue that we need to go to. We would work with the county. We met with them, as a matter of fact, last week, Mayor and I met with them about that. County is ready to go on their end. They said they're ready to put up the money if we are. They'll work out the particulars if we need another interlocal. We already have 2 in place for the money that we gave before, or if we're just gonna have to put it up into escrow. But if this is the route we wanna go, if we want the project to stay on schedule, then we're gonna basically have to come up with the money.
Okay, I understand all that. We're talking about paving the street, right? Paving 495?
495 expansion.
The expansion?
expansion.
Okay, what about the infrastructure? I mean, you can pave all day, but it's not gonna last.
I think that would be TxDOT situation.
No, well, yes, it would be ticked up, but it still come back to Aguasad in what they're doing. I mean,
I don't know
because
if you can answer that. I'm sure you guys have must have thought about it and talked about it. I'm sure it's.
Get up here, Bay.
okay, yeah, because I understand. I mean, the problem is it's underground, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, it is. Good afternoon. My name is Bey Badia Zamani. I'm a veteran of TxDOT, 40 years, retired 14 years ago. Jacinto Garza sends his apology. He's out of town. So, I am here to answer any questions you have on 495. I'll be very brief, but I'll answer any detailed questions that you have. This project, which runs from La Homa to Abrams, and it turns to the expressway. This project is fully funded by TxDOT.
Mm-hmm.
There is a minute order by the TxDOT Commission, which as a matter of fact, I worked on 17 years ago, where it says that they will pay for any construction cost regardless. That's number one. If the local entities buy the right-of-way and get the project shovel-ready, which is what you all are doing with the county. Now, the project is not a paving project. The roadway is being completely reconstructed to TxDOT standards. So you're gonna have a first-class facility that is designed for 20 years. The pavement thicknesses, the drainage, the outfall, it's a first-class facility that you're gonna receive at TxDOT's cost.
Sidewalks.
Sidewalks, yes, sir.
What about sewer?
Storm sewer,
Drainage.
yes.
No, but that's drainage. I'm talking about sewer that's connected to our.
Well, no, sir, this
That's
project
not gonna be
doesn't-
included,
no,
right?
sir, not the
Will that be
sanitary-
inspected before any of that work be done?
I'm sure.
I'm sure that would be the city or whatever it is that you all.
You see,
are-
that's what I'm talking
as
about.
far
It's
as
gonna
sanitary
it's gonna
sewer.
delay the project because of the infrastructure that there's a mess under our streets, right? That y'all are not responsible for, DOT, nobody's
Yes,
responsible
sir.
for. I mean,
Yes.
somebody is, but not you guys.
Yes,
There's a big problem under there.
on the
You see,
sanitary
yes.
sewer.
Yeah, the sewer, yes.
Sewer.
I mean, we're having, the manholes, we haven't flushed one toilet, and we got water coming out,
Oh, okay,
okay? So
Yes,
there's
sir.
a problem.
yes, sir.
So y'all can come in here and do everything y'all need to do, we can come up with the money one way or another, but the problem is under the streets.
And what kind of warranty?
So my question is, would y'all inspect it first, so we don't have to, I hate telling the community, we're gonna do this and do that. I really don't believe that we can't because of the infrastructure. I could be wrong, but you can answer me that question.
Okay, as far as what is underneath the road, remember, this is going to be a TxDOT facility.
Yes,
Okay, that means that TxDOT is gonna maintain it. Now, TxDOT is not gonna maintain your sanitary sewer.
exactly,
That's-
that's my point.
Even when they take over the
That's my
road.
point, yeah.
They only maintain the roadway.
Yes.
And the drainage and what have you. So if you have sanitary sewers that needs to be replaced, this is the time that you need to.
Exactly.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Right, and that
This-
is my
That
concern.
is my concern also,
No,
that we, like I said, y'all can come in here with doing all your equipment, but I think y'all will need to do some inspections first and some kind of a engineer coming, even though it's probably gonna cost us, but because you can pave it and then by the next year, it's gonna be we're gonna have the same.
I hate to have to come back and break the street again,
Oh, absolutely,
And,
yes. Well,
before the
as-
20 years are up. And
On the
That's
sanitary.
It won't last 2 years.
Okay. Sanitary sewer, of course, we have a gravity and have a forced main, so I don't really know what.
I would recommend you look into that, because,
Well, it's just, we're not designing the sanitary sewer part.
yeah,
that would have to be
okay.
our-
It's only the designing,
contract.
yes, that is
Yeah.
Avosad and others. We're not involved in that
Yes.
design of that at all.
But we have, I'm giving you a heads up, there's a
And
big
how does
problem
it-
down there.
How does it work in other cities and other areas where it's your street, right? It's TxDOT maintained streets.
Yes.
There is sewer problems or issues.
Yes.
How does that get resolved without
Okay.
breaking?
You come
Your
under
beautiful streets.
TxDOT rules as far as utilities are concerned. If you have a gravity line that is running parallel underneath the road, TxDOT is receptive of leaving it alone if it's in good shape. That's number one. If you have a force main parallel underneath the road, TxDOT will not allow that. I don't think we have that. That's not my impression. I don't think we have a parallel line running.
It's gravity.
Its gravity is very deep, and it shouldn't affect the structure.
Well, you can't go too deep, we're in Palmview. Palmview, our water table is very high, so, you're gonna get water, and you go 25 feet, you're gonna hit water. You
Yes,
know,
yes.
that's gonna be the problem. And that's what these guys ran into, the problem, but they weren't qualified to do the job, you know, so what I'm saying is, once you get in there, y'all gonna find out what the problems
Yes,
are.
sir, we will, Mr. Damian Tijerina is with me, he's the project engineer, and also Fred Herrera, the right, but we will check into the utilities, just to make sure
Yes, yes, sir,
what we
please,
have.
please.
Yes,
And then come back with a report, see what y'all find, and then we can do all the planning.
we need to get with Eddie and find out but absolutely, I agree, if you have structures underneath that
Oh,
are
they're a
not-
mess.
you don't wanna go build stuff on top of it
Yeah.
until you
And
take
this-
care of that.
yes, yes.
Yes.
Sure first that it's.
And as I said, it comes under TxDOT rules anyway.
Right.
Now, this may become, if, which I don't think you do, but if you have a force main running parallel underneath the road,
We do, in the middle street. It's right in the
I
middle.
hope you don't,
Yeah.
because TxDOT doesn't allow that.
Do we have a parallel or not?
Well,
It's a parallel, or is it,
I don't think it's not a force main, just lines.
it's just gravity?
It's just a line, it's just a line.
Can you imagine if it was?
if
It's
it
only
was-
gravity.
Well, if it was a force main, TxDOT would mandate that you move it out,
Yeah, okay.
and that becomes very expensive.
Yeah,
How's,
no, no.
how's, the timeline, because we hear different dates.
Yes, sir, okay, okay. Where we are on the timeline is that the design of the project is 90% complete with TxDOT approved comments. So the design is only a few months away from completion.
Okay.
What we refer to as PSNE plans, estimate, specifications and estimate. So the design is not the issue. The right-of-way from the 70 parcels that are funded with the federal money, with the MPO money, from the 70 parcels, 57 are already acquired.
Yeah.
So there's only 13 parcels left that we are already working on. That leaves 12 parcels that are on hold right now. These are very expensive parcels. These 12 parcels, each one of them, I believe is over 100,000, 150,000, they're very expensive parcels. Those 12 plus the 13 is 25 parcels remaining. And the estimate is well within a year. By May of next year, the project can go to construction if the money is there to buy those 12 parcels.
Okay.
And that's up to the city. Not to us.
City and county.
Half and half.
City and county. right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we came across that, what we've done in order to be able to keep working with the federal money that has been secured already, the 2.7 million that's already secured, is that we're continuing to finish the 70 parcels. So that work is not stopped. We're proceeding with that. The other 12 are on hold. Because obviously we don't want to start paying if you don't know where the money is coming from. So that's where the 12 parcels is waiting for it to be funded.
What I understood last time that we met is that regardless, let's suppose that some properties are still not closed or negotiated,
Okay.
that if the money is there, that should not stop the project from starting, even though it has not been completed, negotiated with the owners. Is that correct?
I think everything has to be done, right?
If the land has not been bought, you cannot.
You cannot start, right?
Well, they told us that was not going to stop. That was not going to
That
stop
would be a
the
question for our
project.
attorney.
Well, no, but I mean, you need the land to build the road.
No, yes, but supposedly that it's a negotiation, okay? It's not that
Yes.
they don't wanna sell,
Okay.
but that if it's gonna be one property or two properties, and I think we know which ones we're talking about,
Okay.
that it's just unfair for the whole community to say, we're just waiting on one person, or two people to negotiate the land, and we're just waiting for them, when the project could be started already and
The-
work in the same process.
The problem with that, sir, is, yes, the project can get, I mean, yes, in other words, if all the parcels are bought, 80-some parcels, they're bought, there's only 2 parcels pending,
Exactly.
obviously, you can start.
Okay.
The problem is that these are $15, $16 million construction contracts. So a contractor that bids it, he comes on board, and unfortunately, he could just say, that's where I want to start. Right there where you don't have the land, and put a claim against the owner. So there is a risk involved, and we don't do that.
And that's where we come in and we domain the properties, right? Or-
Yes, well, see, this is under TxDOT's control right now, because they're paying for everything. TxDOT will
the state
not go and allow the county to receive bids if the right-of-way is not bought, all the parcels. They will not allow
Taking a
that.
big risk of losing a lot of money.
Yes, sir, they won't authorize it. We have to finish buying all the right-of-way,
Right.
because there is a concern of a claim from a construction contractor. That's what the issue is. But, you know, we want to finish negotiations in good faith anyway, and
Yeah.
with all the property owners. So hopefully we don't end up in the eminent domain, but some properties they are in the.
So is that where we're at, right? Okay, we're eminent domain, we're getting there?
Some other parcels, yes, sir.
Okay, and that's part of why the cost of why we went from 800,000 to 1.
That is part of it, sir, yes,
Okay,
because.
so, and I hear that there's that 3 committee, 3 judges that
Yes,
can
sir,
pick
yeah,
from
special
anywhere in the
commissioners,
street.
yes, sir.
And sometimes they fall prey to somebody saying, well, my land is worth more, and could the city, since we're paying for it, I think the city needs to be involved in selecting a judge or 2 or all 3 of those judges to fight them, you know, to procure the funds of the city, not just hand them out. Because that's kind of what we did. We said, here you go. Somebody over there said, okay, I got $1 million from the city of Palmview, and let's spend it. And that's not being frugal, or that's not being, you know, precarious of our money for our citizens,
I
for
understand
us.
exactly what you're saying, yes, sir.
I went through it with my land on the expressway. You're correct, they have 3 committee members,
Yes.
and they make the final decision if they're gonna pay you more or
Yes.
not. And sometimes they don't.
We would like to, and I don't know if you're the person to talk to
Well,
about it,
no,
but-
I am the person, Mayor,
Okay, so
I am
get
the
us
person.
involved
Yes, but
in
let
this
me,
next
let me
phase.
explain what this is. The acquisition of right-of-way is being done under federal law, which is Title II and Title III of the Uniform Act of the 1970. We follow that to the T, because these are all federal money, so we follow that process. That process, right now, is exactly what you, I don't want to say unfortunately, because sometimes it is unfortunate what happens at those awards, but first of all, to the county, the attorney, now we go through the special commissioners, the 3, they may feel, and they may award just outrageous amounts. Now, at that point, the money has to be put in the register of the court, and we take possession of the land. Now, it can go to the jury trial. Now, you're talking about, yeah, I mean, you know, the timeline, see, that's why typically, once those 3 commissioners award it, it's
Done deal.
yeah, pretty much, I mean.
No, we
unless
just
you
want to,
wanna-
for this next phase, because we still have several, right? We got some more
Yes, sir,
acquisitions.
there's more
We
coming.
need to be a little more, you know, conservative, I think, as much as we can, because we've been very
We
giving.
want to keep that in mind with
Por
the attorney.
favor.
Yes, sir.
And we'd love to
And,
have somebody be a part of it from the city. I don't know who picked them
Well, I
or
think the
why.
judge picks the commissioners,
Okay,
isn't
well-
the judge?
And whoever the judge is.
Yeah, because
if we
Fred
can-
is our expert in our right of way.
Since a big part of that funding is coming from us, I think that
Oh,
somebody
absolutely.
from the
Yes,
city
sir.
needs to
Hello,
be.
Mayor.
Hello, how are you,
Just a
sir?
few before,
Yes,
We're reminded of La Jolla High Speed Parks.
correct.
Council members, Fernando Herrera, from Alamo, PSG Bears. So, anyway. my next-
Welcome to Coyote Country, sir, and Lobo.
And Lobo
Husky.
Coyote
We both
Lobo.
have good baseball teams. I follow baseball. My son played.
Yes,
But
sir.
anyway, what happens, of course, is that once we turn in the paperwork to the county attorney,
It's a done deal.
then he turns around and starts filing the lawsuits, ¿verdad? And then at that point, of course, it goes to a certain judge, you know, and it's supposed to be at random. But, of course, he's in charge of appointing the special commissioners, right? It could be attorneys, could be, real estate guys, it could be whoever, ¿verdad? And then at that point, once they're chosen, they choose a date, and then they all meet there at the hearing. Usually it's at the attorney's office. In this case, Rick Perez has been doing a lot of work for the precinct. That's where they have the hearing. And that's where they determine, they hear both sides of the argument, ¿verdad? And that's where the special commissioner, well, we think it's worth this. And you know, at this time now is that a lot of people feel, well, that the government's coming in, Big Brother's coming in to take the property. So most of the time, unfortunately, they side with the property owner. ¿Verdad? I mean, regardless of the appraisals or whatever, okay, they have it for an investment property, but Leonel Garza, the appraiser for the county, he appraises it right now as market value.
Yeah.
¿Verdad? So, just to give you an example, there was a big piece of farmland on Veterans, it belongs to Garth something, some guy from Houston. I think we made an offer of like $70,000, and the special commissioners came back at 200,000.
Ouch. And I just, you know.
Is
let's
it
talk-
next door?
Okay, so, I don't think, I know I'm speaking for all of us. We don't wanna come back in 6 months and say, oh, we're gonna need another 400,000.
Yeah.
Cause we already did that and we're here again. So we need to move so we can close these deals out and get that sewer, you know, situated, like, you know, and then.
What's gonna happen is that if we get the go-ahead for those big ones especially, is that we've already been speaking to them, and in some cases, we've already made offers to them, and rescinded the offers because they were high value, right? So what's gonna happen is that we'll get going again with the negotiations with these big dollar guys, so that we can get them out of the way, and we know exactly what we're looking at, you know, within a few months, this year, not next year. You know, cause I already talked to our guys, our negotiators, I told them, if we can get those monies and move forward with these 12, that, you know, we're gonna hit the ground running.
You said 12, so there's 12?
12 high value ones.
12 that are on hold.
Yeah, they're on hold.
Okay.
So if we keep us on a short communication network between us, because our communities is also, you know, needing information, when is this gonna happen? And it just makes us look a little bad that we give them a date, or we give them and then it just
Yeah,
doesn't happen,
and, you know,
so.
it's very unusual, this project, because remember, when we started, Agua was doing a project, I believe, water line and sewer also.
That's the problems I'm talking about.
That what kind of held back us from starting to go in and negotiate, because TxDOT said, okay, Agua, go ahead and do what you need to do. And then, you know, we'll come in and start negotiating and buying all the properties, because they were buying easements.
I mean, COVID came and just.
Yeah, and COVID,
Worse.
just,
Yeah.
you know, and then now we're talking about materials, well, that's gonna affect this project too, but that's another issue. My point is that, you know, is that Agua came in and they said, look, we need to finish our project, and then you guys get going and start buying the property. So that held us back a year right there.
Let me just interject. Right now,
Thank you.
the advantage this project has over many other projects.
Wow.
As a
Give us
matter
that
of
one.
fact, over, for example, the Liberty project over there in Penitas. That project, you know, right now, when you're trying to go receive bids, and I'm sure you're all aware of this, because of the price of the gasoline, because of the shortage of the oil, because of the invasion of Ukraine, because of all the problems, contractors are not about to lose money. So we are thinking they're gonna be bidding very high to cover themselves. Well, a project like Liberty, as an example, which is not funded 100% by TxDOT, it's all of a sudden several $1 million short for construction. See, this project doesn't have that issue. It doesn't matter if the bid comes in at 15 million, 16 million, 20 million, whatever, TxDOT. So this is a big advantage on the project, that really neither you all or county has to worry about construction costs. And so when we came down across the right-of-way portion, we said, you know, we stopped, but the construction money, you don't want that jeopardized. Not now, because everybody is after money at the MPO, and this project is sitting there with a lot of money, and they're asking us, are you working? We said, yes, we're working. We are working, because we are. But those 12 big parcels are on hold.
So if we can get some insight or some communications between a city manager, because, you know, now, it's been 3-4 years, and for a long period of time, I can recall that we never heard anything from you all to see where are we going in this? How are we advancing here? And not just for us, but more importantly, it's for the community. They want to know what the timeline is, because a lot of people still were in disbelief, saying, is this going to happen?
Right.
You know?
Yes, I understand.
So we want to make sure that we keep in touch more often, so we can communicate as well to the community, saying, hey, this is our plan for 2023. Now, look at these people here.
Yes.
We had 1 week, 2 weeks, and here are concerned about certain pavements of streets. And I know it's going to happen, but we want to make sure that we have accurate information for them, you know, because, you know, we're paying a lot of money between the county and us as well.
Yes, sir, we'll be more than glad to accommodate any reporting.
So thank you so much for informing us and giving us a little insight, and working to speed up the process as
Sure,
well.
absolutely.
I spoke to Mr. Gill here, You know,
We're gonna have our budget work session in a couple of, months. And we're gonna ask that you guys come in and give us a,
It's
We'll be more
usually in
than glad to
July,
do that.
no?
Probably to do one earlier, like maybe this month.
Okay.
because we
so
need
be
to
ready,
make
guys. Don't go out of town.
for the money.
No, we won't, we'll cancel it.
Dejaron Jacinto.
I just wanted
Yes,
to-
okay.
On one last thing, because it came out on last meeting, the word reimbursement came out, remember? And when we heard, we thought, oh, wait, we're getting some money back, and I think it's misunderstood or misused, but we don't get anything back, right? So the term reimbursement.
Well, okay, let me just explain. The agreement to receive reimbursement is between Hidalgo County and TxDOT. Okay, that's what the project agreement is. And there is $2.7 million of federal money, and 80% of that 2.7 gets reimbursed to the county.
But are we included in there too?
You're not included in that agreement. Agreement is only with the county. Then you have a separate agreement between you and the county that you're paying half and half. See, you do not have an agreement with TxDOT. County does.
That's
But is it-
reimbursement of right-of-way acquisition?
Yes, 80% is reimbursed to the
So,
county.
We're splitting the cost 50-50 for the right-of-way acquisition.
but they're getting,
Yes, that's, see, I'm not sure how you all are working it between the city and
well,
the
something
county.
to
That's a
talk
discussion
about
we
now.
have
With it then on
with
that
the
one.
county.
But county is getting reimbursed 80% of that 2.7 million, up to 2.7 million.
And that was something that the county
They
has.
mentioned it, but we were like a little confused because it was never mentioned before.
Well, we asked them at our meeting last week, and they said that it's like a credit towards some
No,
cost.
no, it's not a credit, it's a reimbursement.
And is there, in your experience, does the city, are we eligible for some of that from the county?
That depends on the agreement that we have with
That's
the
why we
county.
need to look at our
They-
agreement.
No, I mean, you're a partner with the county, half and half. So
To
whatever
pay.
they're getting reimbursed.
We're half and half to pay.
80
But we're
And
not
half and
hearing.
half for
Well,
reimbursement.
then
No,
we need to
no,
look at the, we need to look
I
at the
would
agreement.
Definitely think so, yes,
All right,
yes,
thank you, Pay.
yes,
Let
sir.
me figure it out.
And, you know,
bless
we'll
you.
be glad to provide you the agreement between the county and TxDOT. Would you like that? We can send you that.
Sure, yeah.
The agreement between the county and TxDOT, none of this is a secret. I mean,
Yeah, it's public record.
when it talks about 80% reimbursement, you know, that they have been receiving.
It's about $1 million.
So,
But they've already been receiving the reimbursements.
No, they haven't.
No,
no, well,
and if they have, they
we
haven't told
don't
us.
keep track of that, but I have to assume they're getting reimbursed, yes.
Yeah, it was brought up, and, but they were very, we'll talk about it. We'll talk
How much
about
have
it
we
with
paid,
them.
Mike, how many,
Between the two agreements, I don't know.
2.7.
just the city,
At least half, if not-
It's several million.
about a
Yeah, a
million?
couple of it.
Yeah.
We did
1.2?
2. I'll put you on
It's
with
okay, I
it.
guess we can talk afterwards about that.
Thank you,
And then
Pay.
this is gonna be another.
Absolutely, yeah.
Year and a half.
Ah,
Maybe we can get a million.
no, este era otro, esta es otra parte, esta es la 495, que se va a dar, esos son los ingenieros. En un año y medio, esa calle Dios primero, y todo poniéndose bien, se va a hacer 5 carriles de la Joma hasta la Abram Road. So ahí viene, ahorita está media, ¿verdad? No está bien hecha. No, la calle estaba bien hecha. Cuando vino el proyecto de agua, pasaron cosas, ahí se inundió. Pero esto, después de que compongan, va a ser, se le están hablando por medio del condado y del estado.
Just to reiterate, you know, that new road's gonna give you tremendous drainage. It's curb and gutter.
Which one?
Yeah.
Lines under.
495.
Oh, yeah, the gutters are gonna be great.
Thank you.
TxDOT doing it.
Va a continuar como viene de Mission, todo hasta Abram, y luego voltea para...
Abram, yes, that
the-
section is
that
overlaid.
section is-
Yes, to
Ese
explain.
So
es un,
esa es la
ese es
excepción.
un proyecto que desde el 2000, parece que 12, empezamos a
Yep.
mover esto con el mayor que estaba aquí antes. Y ahora ahora estoy yo de mayor y pues sigue, moviendo el pueblo para adelante. Gracias. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mike, anything else with, which one was the other one?
We're in the update, we can finish
Yeah.
the handout real quick. I know we started talking a little bit about the drainage, Spring Glen, since March, we've been waiting on Drainage District 1. Talked about what we're gonna do to get the drainage done in Spring Glen. The Tierra Linda ditch, we have an item on the agenda, but again, you see the timeline, just to kind of illustrate how sometimes these things take time, and it's frustrating, it's tough. You know, again, this is a property that belongs to Irrigation District Number 1, it's not our property. In a ditch that is maintained by Drainage District Number 1, so it's not us, so we're not a party to it. But council talked about it back in August. We've been talking about it since August. We agreed to pay our share, the 1/3. We finally got the interlocal agreement. We could not do nothing. The project would not move forward without an interlocal agreement. We got that May 25th. We sent it to Eden. Right away, he was able to move forward on it. It's on our agenda, so we'll talk about that in a little bit as far as the particulars that it calls for. Business Center is done. It held up in this last rain. Actually, the last rain showed us a lot how some of the improvements we've done held up. Business Center first and foremost, but even all the other work that our drainage team has done on the ditches up and down Green Road, up and down La Poma, on the south side, on this side, the water flowed. Even Spring Glen, lo que miramos se parecía, ya cuando se paró el agua, when the water stopped, it started to float. Now it flowed slow. I know Commissioner Hernandez was out there. We were following the water. You could see it goes to the drains on Frontier. Y por fin se estaba moviendo. Despacio, but it was moving. And we give credit to the drainage district because they're doing a lot of projects to the east in Mission. And that's where all this water goes.
And it's coming this way.
And it's coming this way. So when they expand, they've made huge expansions on their canals. If you go to Mission, like 40 feet, 20 feet on each side, they made it deeper. They cleaned out all the. So
Is that the one? Is that the one next to Camarena? Is that the one next to Camarena?
It's coming that way.
Yeah.
I think that
Oh my gosh,
Yes,
they're
yes,
taking out
It's coming that way.
truckloads.
It's huge.
They're taking out
Y esa
truckloads.
fue la razón que se inundió mucho para acá, porque allá estaba lleno.
Sí, y todo el agua va para allá. So, si está lleno allá, viene el agua para atrás y pum, y la repente están las calles. So, se parecía que en el Green Glen, ya cuando se paró la agua, you could see it moving, you can actually flow. Same thing right here on Benson and 495. Once the water stopped, the system got a chance to do what it does. But when it's in the past, the water stops, the canals, los diches están llenos, y ahí se sienta el agua. Ya estamos pompeando y haciendo otras cosas. So, as credit to the drainage district on that part, they've made some huge expansion efforts, and we're seeing the impact. They're making their way this way. They're going to be doing some stuff here in Minnesota that's going to be huge. So, as a reminder to the public, 90% of our drainage connects to a drainage district system. There's very few that have their own drainage in a subdivision. Business Center is one, Platinum Star is another one that they have their own. Everywhere else, it connects to a bigger system. So if that bigger system is full down the line by it's just gonna back up, and that's what happens all the time. So,
I know OG did some holes in Brayfogle, and I think they might have covered some of those drains on the middle of the streets, on the north side on the west side of. I know when it rained, the water just stays stagnant a little bit there. It should be running a little bit the way it used to be. But it might have been because when they were digging those holes, they covered some things in there.
and a lot of dirt that they use.
Yeah, they use, and they might have covered some other things, so if you can check that out, Justin.
Street lights, we got some done. Abram Road from Roca Salinas to Business Center, we already got the green light from AEP. They gave us an estimate, we signed off, so that should be happening pretty soon. The lights from Roca Salinas to Business 83, there's about 8. And on Tortillo Road, there's about 8 lights, it's already processing. So the ones that we have pending, and we're gonna add Frontier to it, this list, de los que está pendiente para las luces is Green Road from Agua Dulce to Business 83. The one light at Jimmy Garza at the end of the street. Another one we talked about at our last meeting, Greenway, which is that Greenland subdivision, that there's already poles there.
There's poles in there, it's just continuation all the way to the end of the subdivision. Only that main road, because on the other subdivision, it's gonna need poles. But for now, I think it would be the cheapest way to get there and the fastest to have some light there and that whole street.
Bueno, so those are the 3 that we're gonna close out this fiscal year with, and we're adding Frontier. It seems like council's okay with it, we're in agreement. Well, after that, we are gonna pause, because all these lights are great, but what are we doing? We're adding to the light bill. So we're gonna have to see the impact, and then we'll budget again
Then
next
we'll
year
do it
for
again.
another stream of lights.
Okay, can we go forward? I mean, we can get to the other items?
Put that in,
Last one is just the playground. This is an update.
put all that, Mike, all that extra stuff that we're gonna do those lights in the budget.
Yes, in our
Sure,
workshop,
I mean, we're
that's what
talking
gonna be
about it,
identifying
make
the
sure
next round of lights. Last item was the playground. They're out there right now. They started, the rain stopped it. It should be done with the first set tomorrow. First set today. They start the next set tomorrow to be done in a week. So if you go out there, you'll see them under work. But that's all we have under updates. Mayor, with your permission, we'd actually like to go back to item 6.1. Our guys, our EMS guys are here. Jerry, can you call the EMS guys? They were at a call earlier. I think they were on Country Loop.
Yeah, I talked to him right now and I get some water.
Okay. So if you guys want to come in, earlier in our
Take a little
agenda, the
picture
mayor
with
had a
him.
mayor proclamation for National EMS Week.
Go ahead.
So, if you want to take, we'll take a picture. We already went through the proclamation. So the council said words of appreciation, so we'll send a recording of the video to Chief over there so he can share it with you guys. But I think it's no secret that we're all very appreciative of what you guys do day in and day out. So please join us up on stage. Thank you all, muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Pasen buenas tardes.
Mayor. You want to, you can join us in the picture? Take one for practice and then we'll get one the next. Take one for practice just in case.
Ready? Mr. Perez, if you can scoot, there you go. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
One more.
Careful. Careful.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thank you guys. God bless you guys.
Sorry to bother you. Sure. You're welcome. Please have that one.
Anything else?
I think we're good.
Mike?
Pick up where we left off. I think that was good. We're on, old business.
Okay, so, we're gonna go into 9.3 or we're gonna go,
8-1.
let's go back to 8.1, okay, and then continue with. Discussion and possible action to approve an interlocal cooperation agreement between City of Palmview, the County of Hidalgo, and the
I'll make a
and the
motion.
Hidalgo County Drainage District. I have a motion and a second, and I'll continue just for the record. Drainage District, number 1, to undertake certain improvements to the Tierra Linda drain. I have a motion and a second. Questions?
That one we talked about in the CIP project. I just passed out an update. This is what changed, the price changed a little bit. This details what the changes are, but council had already consented that we would agree with whatever the cost. I do want to note for the record, again, governmental processes, procurement processes. Precinct 3 in this interlocal, what it says is that they're gonna pay it, they're gonna hire their contractor. What does that mean? They're not gonna do it themselves. They're gonna have to go through the procurement process. That's gonna take 60 days. They're not gonna start working out there for at least 3 months, is our understanding.
Where's that?
From
Tierra Linda.
the canal behind Tierra.
That's eroding into the yards.
We thought maybe they were gonna do it themselves, so it was gonna be quicker, but they're hiring, so they gotta go through the procurement process, and again, unfortunately, we don't know how that goes. So reach out to your precinct 3 friends.
Keep us up- keep us updated, Rudy.
Having to pay for the labor.
Yeah.
We're splitting the cost 3 ways on labor,
Yeah. Remember the question that I had on labor was,
machinery and equipment. Oh, yeah.
because I thought the county was gonna do it.
Correct,
And
correct.
it's not the county, it's actually a third party, so now that makes sense.
Now they're specifying that it's gonna be a third party.
Right.
All right. I had a motion and I had a second. Any other questions? Okay, just keep, I have something to say. Make sure you keep us in the loop on this as we go through it. And in June, late June, we have our budget. Bring it back up. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item, 9.1, discussion on police initiatives in regards to the school safety in our area via sustainable cooperative effort in conjunction with La Jolla ISD PD, staffed by PD.
Start real quick, Mayor. Uvalde, the incident in Uvalde, again, opened our eyes to the unfortunate reality situations. And some of the cities are locally starting to work with their school districts, show up present in their schools, and you saw some teams in other cities. And I'll be honest, I think our PD guys are very modest. I talked to them, hey, are we doing that? Oh, we're already doing it from the very beginning. But they didn't want to put something on Facebook. They didn't want to say, hey, you know what, we're out there. They just wanted to do it. And we talked about it at the, let's educate the public, at least let them know that we're doing something. So Lieutenant Zapula here, who's between him and Lieutenant Zamora, are manning the police department, so to speak, is going to share us on some of the updates of the initiatives that we're doing.
Well, good evening, Mayor, City Council. Lieutenant Sepulveda with Palmview Police Department. Also, today we had a meeting with the La Jolla ISD Police Department in regards to protocols, procedures, and things like that in the event, in the unfortunate event of something similar happening. One of the things that we discussed in the police department is that we want to create something that is sustainable for our area. In Palmview, we are in a very unique position where although inside the city we have a total of 3 elementaries and 1 middle school, in the surrounding area, which a lot of our residents are students in those schools, we want to make sure that we are on top of things and respond to these types of situations. And one of the first things that we need to do is know what protocols and procedures our La Jolla ISD Police Department does have. I know for a fact that they do participate in various trainings very often, and we want to make sure that we are working in conjunction with them in order to avoid any type of miscommunication, any type of mishandling of anything. And that way we can better take care of our youth, of our students and our teachers, our staff.
Are y'all working together as far as, do y'all have plans of these schools? I mean, like, blueprint and all that, so we can know what's gonna happen?
That is, they brought back up the La Jolla ISD task force, being led by Chief Gonzalez at the ISD,
Okay.
and part of that, of the task force is getting those plans, getting those.
We need to do them as soon as possible.
Yes,
We'll
sir.
know.
One of the things that we do have is, I do know that La Jolla ISD is rolling out a program where instead of in a similar use of a fire alarm system, it's a police type of alarm.
Right.
Where they do have blue pull stations
Yes,
labeled
I've seen
police
those.
as opposed to fire. And they are rolling out those interlocal agreements, and we will probably present them to you guys also.
Will you get notice as well? Not
Yes.
just, no.
Yeah, where it's gonna be a cooperative effort, an interlocal agreement of sorts, where we will get the initial notification and we will respond.
Is there any way that we can get like uniformed police officers standing in front of the school district, in front of the doors, and that anytime that there's kids?
Well, we need to see the fiscal impact of that.
And of course, from cooperation from the school district.
Yes, definitely.
You know, I think we can get it done, because we're gonna need some armed people there. I mean, some armed officers.
And I was gonna ask,
Definitely.
to what extent are we gonna change? I mean, are they gonna be armed with rifles or?
Well, all
on
of our
campus?
units have the long rifles.
Right.
Within their patrol car. It is
Yeah, but
required,
they're
it is
not gonna
required
be-
that they carry.
They're not gonna be open. That, I guess, are they gonna be carrying it on campus? Is that?
Oh, that would be something that we would need to discuss.
I think.
But everything will be okay by the fall, right?
We should have something concrete in place
Well,
by the fall.
thank you for what y'all are doing.
Yes.
I mean, it's good to hear that you're all are prepared, and, makes me sleep a whole lot better at night. So knowing that our schools are gonna be protected by you and by you all in the school district.
And as always, historically, the youth has always been of great importance in the city of Palmview.
Appreciate that.
I am 42, but I myself come from a youth organization founded here at the city of Palmview. So I do know that regardless of what council was sitting, the youth in our community have always been of great importance, and that has always been one of my biggest takeaways, and that's one of the biggest things that I saw from the Uvalde incident, is that we need to make sure that our youth are taken care of.
Well, thank you
Our
again.
teachers and staff as well. I mean, we've gotta give it to them. 'Cause
Yes.
Arnold, so for the June, I'd like to have a full comprehensive
Yeah.
plan.
Yes, sir. As a matter of
Present what's
fact,
gonna happen and how it's gonna happen. You don't have to explain it right now. we've gotten more in depth than we should have, and which is good, though. But have a full comprehensive for when we present it, for when school starts. And then, and what we're currently doing, because I know you all are meeting with the school district, and with cost and estimate, and then another plan too, which is what you all have already been doing, is working with the youth, right, and making them aware, because it all starts at home. It doesn't start at school. It starts with the family, and so that's another big one too. That so bring that up too and see what else we can do, or we can beef up what we're already doing.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, next item, discussion, okay, police initiatives, that was it, we just discussed.
9.4.
Item 9.3, discussion possible action regarding policy update to address improvements that impede flood control measures in right-of-ways and other public access priorities.
We're gonna try to keep this brief, Mayor, more input more than anything that we want from council. We'll start with the pictures in the back. We're running into issues with drainage in the right-of-ways and driveways. This is an example of a street where you have no culverts underneath the driveways. I think Commissioner Hernandez, you mentioned this one recently, it was off of the Homer Road. We're running into situations like that. And number two, the second picture, you see an area that's literally paved on the easement. It's either paved with concrete and it's paved with asphalt. So the questions before us is, what are we gonna do? Speaking with it then, we need a policy from council. We're gonna take a position. Are we gonna break up these driveways, put in the culverts and put them back the way they were? And at whose expense is it gonna be? If they put cement on their right of way, if they put asphalt on their right of way, are we gonna break those up? Why are they in the first place? Some of these areas were county areas before we annexed them in. So back then, you could get away with something like that. You didn't need a permit. It may not have been enforced. It may not have been a requirement.
Right.
Now, when they're in the city, if they were to come to us, we wouldn't allow them to pave or concrete their entire right of way by the street. If they're gonna put a driveway, and if that neighbor subdivision calls for culverts, then we're gonna require them to put a culvert. Some people don't come to the city, they don't ask for permits, they do it on their own. So you have 4 houses, they all have their little pipes underneath their driveway. You get one in the middle, que no tiene, doesn't have it, the water's just gonna stop there.
Stay there.
So for those that don't come for their permits, then you go out there and you cite them, and you tell them to tear it up and get it right, because it's not fair to the other neighbors.
The ones that if we can conclude that they did it at a time when they could have gotten a permit, but what about the other ones that we added?
I think we need to have a little, like Rick, and I agree partially with Mr. Ramirez, but we can't just shoot from the hip right now, I think. And he's not saying that he's shooting from the hip, it's a great idea, right? Let's put a line and draw 'em, but let's have a little powwow, a little meeting, and let's plan it out, and then let's see what other cities are doing, what they've done, and let's make a plan from there.
Maybe we could,
Especially
drainage underneath or something, I mean, some
Yeah,
pipes.
and
Areas-
I agree with that, but if they didn't get a permit to begin with, we gotta stop that, because, it's affecting everyone else. And then it affects taxpayers' pockets, because we gotta go back and fix what they shouldn't have done. And there's laws and things that we have to abide by, and everyone needs to do their part. And it is what it is. We gotta do what we gotta do sometimes, and it's unfortunate that some people decide to do things on their own without any permission from the city or from any inspector, and then they get upset because they get cited. But yeah, I mean, I'm all for working with the community,
Yeah.
especially if they were annexed.
So
We can workshop
the
this
item
out.
on the table.
we
yeah.
have
Do I have a motion?
I'll have a motion
To
regarding the policy to address.
these,
We don't have the particulars of the policy. I think that, it sounds
We don't
like
have
we
it?
wanna have a workshop.
to address the
But-
improvements.
Workshop,
It
but we
says
gotta
in
do-
action, it's an
Because
action
we're gonna need
item.
advice from an engineer, right?
So
We're gonna need-
if anything,
exactly.
I would actually say that if you're gonna take action, take action to direct city manager to put together a
There you
committee to
go.
bring forward recommendations to council.
To see what areas, yeah, that's fine.
Because there are answers there are questions to be asked, such as whether we're enforcing in our own city or not, whether or not they were here before we annexed, how do we go about it, right? If someone has a 60-foot front and they have a 60-foot driveway, and we tear it up to put that, they already had it, who's gonna pay to repave it?
Right.
Should you repave it? I mean, there's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So,
And maybe one of those areas can cause a lot of damage, and by just fixing that area, it could relieve a lot of stagnant water there. So, yeah, let's put together
As
a
Dan
workshop.
said, a little workshop and
So
explore
I
ideas
make a motion to
I'll second.
to give legal authority, legal and
authority city
administration.
manager to address, a committee to address that, to see about the flooding.
Before we actually do anything.
Yes.
Yeah, well said, sir.
You can hear me?
All right, so I had a motion, and we got a second. Any other questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item 9.4, discussion and possible action to accept gifts from property owners for flood control measures to be installed by city in city right-of-way off Green Road.
Is that the same thing?
It's similar, we need to take a pause real quick. It's a little bit different. But we did take a pause. What's that street? Greenland? Citroen. Green Road? Yeah, that's Citroen. We'll just wait. And I think we're still on Facebook Live, so for the benefit of the public, we're just switching our recording tapes. But I think we're still on Facebook Live, so.
So did we get that on there, Arnold? Did we get the whole, or I'll just reread it for the record? We're, okay, all right, so we did get it. So, no COVID, guys. All right,
On this one, Mayor, this is a specific request of some property owners off of Citroen where it connects to Greenland, that they're actually, there's a street that goes into an alleyway behind all the properties there, behind the houses that are on, Citroen. And they, at their own expense, bought a culvert. They want the city to put that culvert in our right of way to allow utilities, mainly the cable companies, to get back there because they can't cross over because that doesn't exist right now, and they don't wanna impede the flow of the drainage going down Green Road. So this was allow us to accept that gift, and what we'll probably be talking about in the future is also a policy that if this situation arises in the future, are we okay with doing that? I don't know if there's anything that we need to expand.
Yeah, currently the city does not have a policy or ordinance in place on accepting gifts, and so because this is considered a gift of specific use, it does has to be approved by the council. So what I suggested to Michael was on things like this, which are kind of no-brainers givens, that we have already a policy in place to avoid bringing items to council every single
Yes.
time.
Or put them on the consent agenda.
Right, or put them in their consent agenda, that's correct.
I so moved to approve. Second.
So
We
this
got a
is
motion
this
and
is
a second.
specifically just to accept this one, maybe bringing back another policy, or we can just put them in consent.
Put them in consent or have that policy there, or maybe in consent so we can at least know.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
we have a
So
motion
at
and a
least we
second.
know, we
So at least we know where is it coming from, and otherwise we would never know.
Correct.
Right, okay.
That's good, good idea.
Good idea.
Okay, motion second. Any other questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item 9.5, discussion and possible action regarding the issuance of permits for mobile food units in portable buildings for the use of pertinent preparation, and for sale of food and beverages within Palmview city limits. Staffed by city manager.
I mean, I know in the past there's been some discussions on this. At one point, the city put a moratorium on mobile vendors throughout the city and wanting to beautify the city and keep the city safe, to make sure if you were gonna have a mobile vendor, if you have the utilities, access to the water, restroom, and things of that nature. So the city put on hold on it a couple of years ago, and then we revisited that topic, and there were still some different thoughts and opinions on the matter. We did have at the same time discussions on potentially designating a certain area for mobile vendors, like at the park, or have a mobile food park, either in our property or some designated area. So this topic has come up again. We're asked to put it on there to get input from the council. Basically, what do you guys want to do with this? Open it up, or designate an area, or hold on it, or continue to hold on it?
I like the idea of designating
Me
an
too.
area for it.
Yeah.
Like have a food truck park or
Yeah.
something like that, like they do in Mission and in Macau, where it's just in one place and.
Yeah, like a family outing.
It-
go out and
If
eat.
it's from the private property, right, I mean, if they have their own area that is not in the residence and it's accessible and have those, what is it, facilities with water and
Well,
restrooms
yeah,
and
they
stuff.
have that.
But that'll create everybody wanting to have it at their own places, instead of having one designated area where everybody, like a taco plaza or whatever.
And
you
who
wanna
would
call
designate, are we designating that area or?
it. Do we have an
how-
area?
Have a
That's
city-owned
what's
property.
up for discussion. We talked about it at our workshop last year, designating, the park area, maybe working with the MVP, although that would be temporary. But either way, designated a city property. Hey,
Oh, city
mobile vendors
property.
can come here.
Right.
Well, but I guess we can I'll make a motion for administration to look into what is best for the city and what is, where we can do it in our property, instead of having,
What does it entail?
yeah.
My initial thought is somewhere close to the park. We have a lot of traffic already
Yes.
coming in.
Yeah.
We have restrooms.
Yeah.
We have
So
lights,
the facilities,
electricity.
I would make a motion to look into
Would be
that,
ideal, right there.
yeah, into
Two
that.
parking areas, paved
I
areas
second.
that we have here. We
And
wouldn't be able to we most likely wouldn't be able to sell alcoholic beverages, because I know that came up last time, but I think it would still work just because of the amount of traffic we already have coming in.
That'll work.
And that's why I suggested to the city manager to bring it up, Mr. Garcia, so that's a good point, was for us to create an ordinance
Yes.
new that answers all these questions already,
Yes.
including location. where it's
Location
at.
and all that. So that's my motion.
Second.
Okay, motion second. Any other questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to bring that item up also when we get into the budget in the summer again. That's a hot topic, good hot topic for the city.
Oh, yeah, Ross, that's a good one.
Thank you. Item 9.6, discussion and possible action to approve purchase of police uniforms.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion, second. You got the motion, the second over there, Brad?
I got
Pettis.
second.
All in, we'll take, Mr. Garcia's second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. 9.7, discussion possible action on upcoming events.
Real briefly, I don't know if Yvette, have you passed them out? We had a tire event recently, we have some events coming up where, in relations to Uvalde, there's a group that had some bands together that they want to bring together to do something, but they wanted to move quickly. We didn't have time to do a meeting and get permission from council, but council's open to it. They have groups confirmed, some of the cities want to join, Peñitas, La Joya, Sullivan City. They want to bring their own vendors and things of that nature, and the proceeds are supposed to go to people from family members of the, I guess it was the Uvalde incident. So, Yvette, is there anything else that we need to expand on that particular event?
Well, we need, Yvette, here with you guys, council. We need an approval on a date, and location.
Okay, right now, I
For the
think we
event
would
one?
rather just give approval to look into and explore. Because I think on for event number one, I got a call midweek, last week, and they said that possibly the 27th, I think, that they would be able to work for that, event, for the fundraiser. So they finally came up with a date, and it's again for the.
I'll make that
citizens
motion
of
to
Uvalde.
explore.
And,
To explore more than-
okay, so I'll take the motion, but,
Are we gonna have enough time because?
That's the thing, I don't know if we're gonna
well,
have
so I think it would be wise to give approval to begin the process. If we can find the time to get it done, great. If not, then it won't be
We're
done.
looking at Sunday, the 18th, that's next week.
No, on the 27th.
So in this specific one, what's the question for the council is, do you want to authorize administration to move forward and plan that event or not? Independent of what I also already advised Mike, which was that we still need to have a policy and ordinance in
Yes,
place
yes.
that governs this, so we're not bringing it.
Do we
we're
have a
not
bank
using
account?
discretion on things, but we have a set policy that outlines how,
Correct.
when, and how much you can use city property for.
And who's gonna be in charge of
There
it?
you go, and for who can, for profit, nonprofit, that in itself is an ordinance of its own we should approve.
So what if, I don't know if we have a committee for this, but what if we just, create some kind of a committee for this? I mean, I know there's not much time, but,
We could-
because, I mean, we're talking
or-
about money. I mean,
So
somebody
in
needs to be in
terms-
charge of the money.
Right, so in terms of the event itself, the city is not putting on the event, it would be the organization, am I correct? Here, it's the permission of the use of property.
And what property are we talking about?
We're probably the park, or we would coordinate with MDFP for their property, but probably the park. If it's a city-owned property, it would probably be the park.
Oh, okay.
The
So are you
issue-
okay with a third party coming in and using our property to showcase their own event, to handle all the funds?
Who is the third party?
What's the name of the group?
Javier, with Javier and the Tesoros.
Is that
Tesoros
for
Uvalde.
the fundraiser
That's for a fundraiser for the Uvalde.
For the
So,
Uvalde.
to Mr. Garcia's point, which is a good point, yes, the city does not have any control financially over this event, other than disposing of the property. However, there are
Liabilities?
incurred city costs that come with it, such as
Security.
police and other matters that we're gonna need to do that, so.
We
in
get
this
with
case-
Benitas, we get with, like, when it comes to manpower, if it's gonna be Benita, La Jolla, Sullivan, and possibly Mission,
Right, so what
They're
you
all
would
gonna
be
pitch in.
approving
They're
here
gonna have to.
is the authority for Mr. Leo to help to essentially permit the use of property, and you're accepting and the incursion of costs that could be associated with that. Electricity, if you have lights turned on, security, if you have police department there.
Liability?
Things like that, right, to some extent liability, yes.
Now, do we know this third party? I mean, because I know there's a lot of, events that are, a lot of fundraisers.
I'll defer to Mr. Leo on that.
Do we know who they are? Because there's a lot of fundraisers being held all over all over the country. And I just saw this in the news.
Yeah.
And they've received millions of dollars. Well, a lot of people's collected $1 million. I don't know if it's gone to the victims themselves.
It has gone to
But-
the millions, yes.
Huh?
It's gone to the millions.
It's gone to the millions, so I'd
Good
like
point.
to
Good
know
question.
who is the third party? What are the references?
Right.
Because they're a nonprofit, right?
So the issue is that they wanna have this on the 18th, which is 2 weeks away.
I think it's too soon.
So if we're gonna,
it wouldn't be on the 18th.
No, it wouldn't be on the
It would be on the 28th, 29th, on
Because
that
we wouldn't
Thursday.
want to be part of, I'm
right, so
excuse
that's
me,
what I'm saying, so you want the issue to come back to council?
Yes.
Okay, so then what you would be doing, if you want the issue to come back to council, is directing city manager to get the information of the third party,
you go.
who they are, all that kind of information.
See how they plan on paying
Bring
it
the
out.
issue back to
how-
council
yeah.
for approval if you all want.
Just to make sure that the funds are being used.
Yes.
I mean, not that it would take a long time for that, but it would take a long time, by the time we have another city council meeting, and for them to be able to
No.
prepare
I
and
mean,
organize for the event.
we're gonna remember this for many, many years. I mean, so, they're pretty busy right now. I mean, our hearts are with them. That's why we wanna make sure that the victims do get, the money that are coming to them. That's what's more important to me than, I'd rather wait a little while, than to, than to.
So, what about, it's to the end of the month, the 27th would be.
Something like that,
I'm
maybe.
a little bit, well, as long as it takes for.
The 21st?
And I don't wanna rush, there's a lot of more questions than answers right now.
Yeah.
We do all agree that we wanna help,
Yeah, we wanna.
but we don't wanna rush something and tie a knot that we can't untie.
Okay, just one quick question, or suggestion. The thing is that if they wanna plan it on the 28th, and the meeting would be on the 21st, that gives us no time
Then we'll move it to
to
September
promote,
or
no time
October or something.
to get vendors. We need at least 2 weeks and a half, 3 weeks to plan.
We'll have all that in, maybe
Because I don't
even
think,
July.
I don't think it should take that long to collect that information, how they plan on.
Who are they?
Yeah, I mean,
No,
8 days is
not so
not
much.
enough time.
Yeah,
8
it's not
days.
so much,
No, like-
it's not the time of how long it takes to get the information, it's the time it takes to have another city council meeting.
Sí, por eso, but
Because
if we give Michael the authority to validate all of those questions, just to reassure us that, he's gonna take care of making sure that these funds are going to be
Distribute correctly.
delivered
To the right people.
to the right people, then we can proceed.
Well, once you know who that third party and what they're about, I think, and I believe that they're affiliated with the city of Uvalde. So the families and the city, so I don't know, I'll have all the details.
So we can get.
So
an
can
answer
we
by this
motion
week?
to authorize Michael
that was my
to?
motion.
I can
Okay.
get all that
So
information.
there is a
Delegate that?
motion on the floor by Mr.
To
Garcia.
look into the
Well,
third party.
And a second.
You know, I don't know how you wanna word it, but let's go ahead and cross our Ts and dot our Is. You know, we wanna make sure that we're not putting the city in the liability. We wanna know who the third party is. We wanna know how the funds are gonna be handled, and who's gonna be accountable for them, and who they going to.
So your motion is to approve the use of city property, subject to
Subject to-
Mr. Leo reviewing
Correct.
all the questions you have answered and validating and ensuring that the funds are actually going.
Yes.
So
Correct.
you are
It's
essentially
like the mayor said,
delegating.
we wanna help.
Right,
Will
so
the
you're-
funds be them handling it, or you know
He'll
what?
have
or
all
it's
those
gonna be
answers
here?
for us.
Right.
Mr.
Then
Leo
I'll
will have
I'd
all.
like references from other, I'm sure they've had other fundraisers.
Just get the
Right.
information.
So what you would be doing is you're delegating the authority to say yes to Michael,
Yeah.
Yes,
based on what he reviews
No
and
pressure,
what
Mike.
he deems.
No pressure, no pressure.
yes.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
then
you don't have to come back.
for
because,
purposes,
I mean,
yeah,
we-
we
for
don't have-
planning
we can
purposes.
bring it
We
back.
just wanna do the right thing,
Yeah, but
do
we
the right
can't
thing.
bring it back for an update, so
For
just to
planning.
clarify.
Como dice el dicho, we don't want una cosa buena que se mire mala.
So, Mr. Garcia, just to clarify, your motion is to allow Mr. Michael Leo the authority to execute, if he deems it proper, the use of
Correct.
city property for this event.
With consultation with legal.
Yes, ándale.
Yes,
It was-
of
it was
course,
legal.
of course.
Okay, está bueno. Okay,
All right,
that's my
motion second. Questions? Any other questions? All in favor signify by, wait, hold on. That's on event number one. Event
Yes.
number two, 50th year anniversary
But, okay.
dinner it's also a part of action on the upcoming events. So we got event number one, right? Now we got event number, we're gonna do the same thing with
No,
event
so
number
we'll-
two.
we have a partial motion right now, let's wait for the discussion on the 50th anniversary, and Mr. Garcia can add to the motion.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Motion,
Not
wait,
yet.
No, so just continue the discussion and we'll come back and add.
Okay,
to
what
the
are we
motion.
talking about the 50th year dinner, anniversary dinner? Still gonna do the dinner and the event separate?
The dinner is separate, yes. That was postponed previously
Okay,
for a future date. So we just need to come up with a date so we can process the invitations and all the necessary.
we just need, to- we need to give these people.
This is the dinner. This is the
Yeah, well,
dinner.
we're talking about the former mayors and all
Yes.
that, right?
Yeah.
We have to give them ample time
So,
for.
yes, it's June 7th. Mid-July would be okay?
It
Or
would
no?
have to be on Thursday, I believe.
I would check with the people that are gonna be there first, if they're available, get some kind of assistance from them.
That-
Cause I mean, we're talking about, we're talking about people that need assistance, 'cause they're, or people that, that
How
are,
about-
that are.
good
So-
point,
So
good
you're
point.
talking
How
about a
about just
date.
giving them 2 weekends or 2 dates? On this week or next,
Yeah,
or that
give
other
them
week?
give them a choice.
Give them a choice and then get consensus.
Yeah.
How-
You get mixed.
How
Okay.
soon?
Well,
How
the
soon?
We're
thing
talking
is that
about
if you
over
tell them next
200
week, they're not gonna
invitations.
come.
No,
Yeah,
definitely.
but what I'm saying is that you think is mid-July would be too far or too soon or what?
No, I think more
Mid-July,
than enough.
yes, if we have, like, if we come up with
And that's another
a
one, vacation.
flat, like, date and
Or-
set,
Why can't
Yes.
we?
Late
do this
July?
in September.
no, that's the event, that's the
Well,
main
why can't we do
event.
it close to those?
Yeah,
Close to the, instead of having so much apart?
Because we wanted to be closer to April, that was the birthday.
well, yeah.
Well,
That's
but it's the
why
whole
we
year.
had done it.
I mean, I don't wanna,
But like
I mean,
June and July.
I'd say have it together in
Water walks
September.
Are a lot of vacation time.
I think it's gonna be too much if we do it in September.
Huh?
It will be too much.
Late July, early August?
I would say in July, it'd be okay.
Okay, but
Late July, maybe.
And the thing
Okay.
is, this is not everybody's gonna be able to accommodate a date, like.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean,
even
it's
for
very
family
hard.
parties,
I just
there's
don't
always
agree.
somebody that.
I
We
just don't
can't
agree having them
ask-
separate so much apart.
And if they're out on vacation on July and June.
Here's something else, why do we have to have a dinner?
That's
For
what I
what?
want.
Okay, because it was
También.
already approved.
Well, that doesn't,
But,
Can
but
we-
it was
can we
approved
dismiss?
because, it was
Or
approved
maybe
because
do
we
a
kinda
parade
rushed into
instead
trying to
where
do
we
something.
involve the community.
Monday?
Yeah, or maybe
Yes.
do a parade instead where we involve the community.
Yeah.
yes.
You
I would
And
know,
they
like
can
that.
I like that idea too. The families can ride in their vehicles and they make time and,
A parade sounds good.
Now,
This became a little bit of a hot topic.
Yeah.
Maybe
Kind
the-
of quickly. The idea was, and you put it to the staff of the event committee was
Yeah.
putting together, trying to coincide with the actual 50th birthday of the city, which was in April. So they did move quickly, we had a meeting, we approved it quickly. Special plaques were created, invitations were sent out, and in the process of trying to move quickly, some were inadvertently left out, and all of a sudden it just became such a hot topic, like if it was, people were intentionally left out, or we were doing this on purpose just because it's that time of year again, and that had nothing to do with anything at all. At this point, we've already, this is the April 15th, the idea was always to do the big community festival.
So we have the rest of the year.
I don't know if there's any harm, just at this point, just doing it in September, sometime have a week-long event. We still have the dinner, and then the following week, boom, the big festival.
Or, yeah, and also have the parade right before the event.
And I still have the plaques, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
We paid for the salon, so that's kind of already paid for.
Yeah, the venue has been
It's
paid
like
for.
having two weddings for the same people,
This one was supposed to be not to exclude the public in any way, shape, or form, but this was meant to honor the forefathers of everybody who has served, going back to the inception of Palmview.
And I think this gives us, if we do it sometime in September, this gives us ample time to really plan something really good for our forefathers like you said.
Exactly.
And for
And we could
for
still
our
recognize
community as a
them,
whole, because
maybe at the event, recognize the.
And media,
those
media
individuals
and the paper and.
on the paper, yes,
And all that,
as best as we can.
So I guess my motion would be, let's get it closer to September.
for our community.
That would be my motion. I mean, but I don't know. That's my opinion. Having it closer to, two events, have it almost the same time. If, have them closer, because it'll be, I mean, I'm looking,
Okay,
at staff.
just a reminder that which was the Community Fest, was also moved to September.
That's what I'm talking about, having it
That's
close
what they're
to.
trying to do both together.
So
Yeah.
the
Together.
Fall Fest is now gonna be together with
There's-
the Community
We're gonna have a
Fest.
community fest?
Okay, the fall-
Community fest and a fall fest? Mucho fest.
That's what we can involve the schools, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that would be too early for the schools to practice mariachis. Y todo. Oh, yeah, then you're right.
Yeah, that won't be 50th. That won't
It
be-
needs to be given specific attention to the
Yeah.
city's birthday,
Exactly. Yep.
right? 'Cause
I
I
have-
like all these good ideas, but we need to refocus.
And we
get
also
back
have an
on
event
track.
number 3.
Huh?
We also have an event number 3.
That
Okay.
was something similar to.
So
what we
event
had
number
last time.
2, clear me out here, or, help me understand it. We're gonna do it in September, right?
That's my motion.
And are we gonna have a parade or what is
Have
it?
a parade also.
A parade, okay? And then be creative, and remember, you have 100 years to plan for it again, so might as well, or 50 years.
Because look at this, we still have event number 3, but it'll be the 4th of July. That's gonna be a lot of work for everybody.
That's next week.
That's next week.
Next month.
That's another event.
Yeah, I
We can
think
also
that-
move it.
Just one of the city stuff, but you don't need to take any action, we'll bring another item.
Yeah, there you
the
go.
next
Yeah,
agenda,
yeah. Take no
specifically
action.
for the city, just to y'all approve the
Yeah.
action. itinerary
There you
Well,
go.
give,
for the
yeah,
city
and
plan.
For the
move
city,
on it. and bring
But
it
this
to-
event, the one is for the July?
The 4th of July is also something that we started last year. So we
Yes,
need to
that's
get
right.
an approval if you guys are wanna do it this year again.
We
We
can do the
need to
fireworks?
set
That
the
was with
dates.
fireworks and, yeah,
Yes.
that was on July 1st, that's on a Thursday as well?
Friday.
We're already late. I already spoke to the fireworks team, and they already said that we are late, but they can work with us.
Okay.
But we do have to have the date set and the location.
July first.
Okay.
What is it?
And,
July
and
1st?
instead of, I know
We would
it has
suggest
vendors
July
here,
the
right?
1st, on that Friday.
We're gonna have vendors here. Why don't we, we provide the hot dogs, to the people.
We did that last year.
Yes, and have some, have them barbecue their own. I mean, it's a 4th of July picnic. Families are together in areas.
Yes, we had the
Where are
hot
we
dog
gonna have this,
contest.
On a Friday, you want it on a Friday?
Here in the park?
It's on the 4th of July, it's a Friday.
Yes.
Parking lot here, and we utilize the side of the thing right here también.
And make it a family
Because that
event.
was nice, yeah, make it
And,
It was really nice.
yeah, it was.
yeah.
Include the
I mean,
schools if you can.
And we
include the
don't have to
schools.
have all the people here. We're gonna have people seeing it from their homes. That's gonna be the nice part.
Yeah,
Everybody's gonna see them from their homes.
yes.
It's not about,
So we're approving the date right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Is what's on the
Yeah.
table right
Okay, well, I guess my motion
Start
will
planning
be
it.
number one,
On the 4th of July.
On the
No,
1st,
on the 1st.
on the
Friday
first.
the 1st.
It's a Friday?
First of July.
On the 1st
Yeah,
of
'cause
July?
other
Friday.
cities are gonna be
Is
having.
that okay with you?
Yes, that's okay. Sullivan is, I think, doing it on the 4th, so we don't wanna do it.
McAllen
but-
does something
McAllen is
too.
also-
But why don't we do it on the
it's-
4th?
That's on a Monday.
That's on Monday.
It's on the 4th.
But that's gonna be harder for us to get a firework display,
Oh,
That's what that's.
because they have to have the gentleman.
because last year I
bring-
remember people did make comments about why did we do it on the 4th? And it's true, everybody does it on the 4th. McAllen does it on the fourth, everybody
There's
does it
other,
on the fourth.
there's other places that are doing it on the second, and some places are doing it on Sunday. But
But we wanna light up the sky with
Yeah,
everybody.
and
We
then,
suggested
again,
Friday.
accommodating
Lot of
everybody.
black
Some
cats.
people are gonna be out of town too, so
so
Okay.
do we get an?
Friday's good.
So Friday the first.
Okay.
Friday is the
Friday
first, the first, all right?
Fourth of July party.
And yes, with fireworks. if we-
Yeah, we'll be one of the
Okay,
first
so my
ones.
motion, it has to be the same motion, right?
Yeah.
Okay, number one, what we talked about. Number
And
two,
then we got it then, right,
we're
Mike?
gonna, no action. Number three, we'll have it on the first. That's my motion.
Second.
Okay.
Okay, motion and second, we got it, Mike?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions, input? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. 9.8, discussion and possible action to go out for requests for qualifications for agents of record regarding employee insurance benefits.
Mayor, City Council, it's been a while that I've been up here to
Hello,
present to
Jerry.
you guys.
How you doing?
It's not that I'm not busy, it's just that, you know, in HR, there's really not a lot of movement when it comes to, you know, just trying to keep employees, you know, in a sense, you know, and trying to keep this atmosphere and the workplace a very good environment to, you know, to work. But it's that time of year that we come around for the health insurance quotes again. We had locked it in for 2 years, so thank God, you know, we had made that, I had made that request, because we went through that COVID and our health insurance didn't change on the employees, so it kind of helped like it kind of helped us, you know, when the, you know, everything was fluctuating, so, but it's that time of year, so just know, and I'm gonna throw it out there to you guys, that it will probably increase, by percentage, I don't know. In the past, it's been like an average of 30% that our health insurance had increased, but again, this is not taking into consideration, COVID times. So again, this is just to go out for requests of, qualifications, not a proposal. It's more of, just professional advice and service, for the better benefit of the city and the employees to
I have a
obtain the
motion.
best rates.
I have a motion.
Second.
Okay, motion, I'll take up Ms. Flores' second. Questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
Even though it's on the agenda, right, but I forgot to mention something on the events. You mentioned something about the tires, right?
Yes, sir.
I had some calls about why weren't my tires picked up? Why weren't, we notified? I had like 5 to 10 calls about that. People very upset about, well, why didn't you let us know we were gonna pick up, you all gonna pick up tires? What happened there?
Of course, the tire event, it's done year round with the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council. A bunch of cities get together, and it's really meant to be a tire drop off, to be honest. We order as many bins as we want. We asked for 1 last year, that filled up real quick, so we got 3 this year. And the idea is on a Saturday, on the same day, every city's doing the same thing, and it's promoted as a tire drop off. Now, what city did internally the day and a half before is like, we knew we have a lot of places where there are illegal tires that are being dumped throughout the city. You know, I don't wanna say the spots because then people say, oh, that's where you go. But so we hit those places up, and just by hitting those places up ourselves, internally, staff-wise, we filled up about 1.5 bins.
Hitting these places, businesses?
No, not businesses.
Private property?
Empty lots.
Like 2 Mile Line, for example. You know, if you go down.
Outside of the
Yeah,
road? No,
On the
okay.
side of the road. La Homa sometimes on the side of the road. There's Green Road, the apartments, they get a lot of tire buildup. So these usual places, these hot spots, we went and picked them up. The event itself happened on Saturday. We started the drop off, and I know, we were out there, and we said, you know what, the idea came up, what if we go out there to the city and try to clean up the city? So different crews went out there, some of our mayor commissioners were out there, and they picked up tires, we brought those in, we filled up the bins, and
But legal, was that legal?
To the extent that, I mean, the short answer is this was a tire drop-off event, right? So we should have refrained from going into.
Businesses, because I saw pictures,
That being
our
said,
city trucks and businesses.
I know that there's some property owners who allowed permission.
I would have given you permission, I got like 40 tires.
So in terms of liability, some of that was waived when we received permission. However, in terms of equity, in terms of services, then to your point, then, I mean, what you do for one, we should do for all.
That's my point.
Right, but it's not, that's a policy
Well, not my point,
question.
that's what,
Yeah,
that's the calls I'm
that's-
getting.
Yeah, and that would be more of a policy question than a legal one. In terms of legal, when we got permission, we could enter. On the policy side, though.
So next time we get a tire pickup or drop-off, whatever y'all wanna call it.
What I suggested to Mr. Leo, next time we have an event for a tire, or an event like this, is that we have clear, guidelines on this, and that they should call me if they have any questions as it's happening, before we do anything outside the purview of the structure of the events.
Cause this is not the first year we do it. We've
So
never
would've-
done it this way.
It would have been better, I guess, if we would have just used our personal vehicles and gone out and done it on a volunteer basis. If this is, I mean, I know for
Well, but there's a
myself,
limit, there's a limit of tires you can bring in, right? Cause if not, I would've, I mean,
Right,
if you
so-
go in your personal vehicle, you're gonna bring a truckload of tires, and
I think there
what
was
about
just
the
a
rest?
size limit, no?
So,
Or was there a number limit?
Yeah, I had some people that had trailers, that had truck tires, and they were turned away. But then they see these pictures, those are the ones that called me, some of them. They called me and said, well, hey, look, these are truck tires, and they didn't let me drop off mine. They're picking them up.
So again, one of the things that I told Mr. Leo was that our city events should have clear guidelines on what we're doing.
So next time, let's
And
look
so
at that, please.
The guidelines of the event should be stipulated on what we're doing, what we're not doing. And we should adhere to the guidelines.
And I didn't have an answer for them, that's why I'm asking you guys. I didn't have an answer why we need to pick up their tires.
For those that were coming, the flyer stated we had a limit of 4 tires per person and no oversized trailer tires.
Let's take those pictures down, because that's what they are.
There were some that were illegally dumped, that it kind of put the pressure on the city, like, do we leave it there, or do we pick it up, and, you know, we need to pick them up. They gotta be picked up one way or the other. As long
All right,
as
I just had a question
people
for that.
weren't coming to drop off. So
Okay.
we wanted to keep them off the street.
Any other input on that item? Okay, next item, 10, executive session pursuant to Texas Government
9.9.
Code.
9.9?
Oh, I take that back. Discussion and possible action to approve change to 2022 employee salary schedule, including amendment to 2021-22 City of Palmview municipal budget.
Mayor, this will just allow us, based on council direction from the past, where we're gonna have an in-house PR, public relations specialist. Again, this is the direction of the council. We are saving money by, instead of having third parties do it, we're gonna have an in-house person. We've already started taking applications. We're not filling it right now. This just allows us to create the position.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
And then we
A
don't.
motion, a second. Questions?
I did have a question with, and I brought it up to Michael, that this, one person would not be able to do 2 jobs at once, which would be to either cover events, by either, I don't know, maybe hosting lives on our city page, and also cover the footage of an event that takes time and money to plan, and we want to preserve, you know, the memories that are being made with the families that join us in our events, you know. So if we could just look at that detail, what procedure would we follow in maybe hiring somebody to help that person, either acquire the
The third party.
photos, the video, things like that.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, I know right now everything is.
That's a good idea.
We need to communicate to our public what it is that we're doing
Just get
and
bids.
show,
Just get bids.
you know,
This person can be the face and the voice and put together the things, but somebody's gotta do the pictures, the
The
videos.
capturing.
Everything else.
Yeah, but,
And-
just
also-
get some bids.
And also, I mean, how are we doing with the new website? Have you had any feedback on that? That person should be also
Oh, yes.
getting information to our community, through our website that we just got. Have you had any feedback on that?
No, and positive feedback, the one that we get the feedback the most is we pushed hard was the online registrations for parks. Before you had to literally go to the parks, fill up a form manually, old school. Now, we pre-launched the website without bringing too much attention to it. We directed people to that. They go online, they fill out the form, they click submit, and it gets sent, and it automatically prints a form or sends an email to the guys at parks, and they're getting like, 50 a day, 54 a day. So, and
Yeah.
the response has been positive. So we want to take it, the next step is to make your payment online as well to do that. Right now, they have to make payment with Parks and Rec, but I think that's been the biggest one. The one that we hear, at least the one that they speak.
And also for the PR person to be able to manage or put pictures of kids in the park.
Are we talking about a position?
That's-
No, it would be the same person.
The same
I think
person.
the same person.
To hire a person for that?
Well, I think this could be a duty that they could have, and I think they could take take it on. Now that we have.
Because
our-
that's
the beauty
PR.
of our website is that we have access to it, we can change things instead of sending an email and waiting for it to be changed. You know what, we had an event, put our pictures on our website. This same person, our PR person, access to our website, uploads these photos of an event or makes an announcement about something coming
Yeah.
up. I think this year.
Just get a very good qualified person.
Yeah, very good qualified.
So that
person
would
will
be,
go around.
that would be like the benefit for that.
Oh, yeah.
I guess the website kind of helps as well.
Get
to
the right
communicate.
person that's done it before and qualified person and go for it.
Job description?
Yep.
I'm
job
sorry, Mr.
description.
Garcia, you can't do it. I'm already,
I think our job description was very flexible in that, not Jared?
Other duties as assigned?
Okay. Just know that when I obtain job descriptions, obviously I do have my pool, HR director, by the way, I do have my pool of the consortium that I utilize to obtain this PR, so we're not the only city doing PR. So I made sure I was very broad, you know, I mixed it up between what we needed, with the, you know, what you all discussed, so that we can further provide the services. I know in there I inputted a quarterly newsletter and things like that for, you know, for just the PR aspect of it. Even a magazine, if anything, in the future of all our updates and all that, updating of the streets and all that. And then another part that I emphasized on is really what to kind of give direction with the city attorney and that person to really deeply dive into what you can say as through the guidelines and out, you know, law, what you can say, and kind of direct us like, hey, you know what, don't put it out there yet. You're gonna bring up too much attention and, you know, bring up a lot of scenarios that have happened, you know. I further advise the city when city attorney is a little tied up.
There's something else that I think the county used to do or is doing, I'm not too sure, but like when we have some things happening in the city,
Yeah,
you know where I'm getting to?
I think so.
Where,
Actual meetings?
no, when we have, like, suppose we're paving that street that we are
Yes.
at starting the, have our personnel, hey, let's leave some information or door hangers to the people there, so they'll know, hey, this is what's coming here. So in the vicinity where things are happening, let the people know, hey, inform them that there's gonna be construction or there's gonna be improvements in this
Just don't
city.
give 'em a date.
You understand? So we always update
Because we're dealing with
this
contractors,
to
that's
the
what I'm saying.
people that are around that area to make sure that that's what's happening.
Yeah, like Spring Glen, for example, they were saying, how do we get the word out to the people
To the
of Spring
people.
Glen?
Well,
We put it on Facebook, but they don't know how to.
yeah, but this is when you have a project, for example, once the project is saying, hey, we're gonna start on the 11th or 20th, well, you know what, on the 18th or 17th, let's start going to that streets and let's start putting some people, just to give them information, this is what's happening here in the next 2 days. Got it?
What I thought you were gonna say, the county does it after every commissioner's court meeting, they put out a commissioner's court update of what happened in the meeting. So we've been.
Oh,
talking-
yeah.
Every time we have a council meeting, let the public know, they're not all watching it, or it's hard to follow sometimes,
I
because
think
the
that-
verbiage we use, and we go through it quickly.
Yes,
but
or sometimes we don't
see, they want to know.
clarify what it was, the item was, we just, we see it, but they don't see it. So yes, we need
Yeah, we already
clarification.
passed that.
Hey,
A little.
I think that's it, no?
hey, just put all duties as assigned, all right? And that it might look, and it might grow. This position is gonna grow. There's gonna be extra duties as we get through this, all right?
One thing that I've noticed as far as in positions coming up is that's the PR position in itself is becoming just a popular, or not, well, I guess popular with the social media and the services that are being provided now. It's one of those industries that it's really coming up. And
We know, we understand, just make sure you put other duties as
And
assigned.
get the right
in that job
person.
description.
Get the right person for it.
Always.
Thank you,
put
Jerry.
others-
Okay, next item,
Did we vote or motion second?
discussion and possible, I believe we had a motion and a second, right? And then we voted? Let's take a vote, just for the record. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 10, executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code 551071, 551072, 551073, 551074, 551076, and 551087.
Motion.
Got a motion? Second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. We are going into executive session at 8:01.
Wait for the-
Be back.
Give us the mark.
return to the council for approval at the upcoming board meeting, at the upcoming council meeting.
Great.
All right, and we'll include that one in our budget work session as well. And on item, discussion and action, the recommendation is to follow legal.
At this time, we just recommend no action on this, okay? We did meet with them in executive session. They are gonna do a check by allowing us to see different options. I recommend that we wait to see what that looks like before we proceed with any formal action.
That sounds like a winner, so we recommend no action.
Yeah, so no action.
Let them work it out. We're gonna work with them, they can work it out. All right, so we had a motion, as per legal, do I have a second?
Second.
A second, any other questions?
Well, I mean, it's no action.
There's no action.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's no motion for it, yeah.
okay, on either or. All right, so do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved to adjourn.
A motion and a second, any questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nobody opposed, motion carries. Meeting adjourned 9:23, have a good evening, be safe. Have a great one, guys. Good night.